What's going on, Star Wars fans?
Hello there.
We are back. It is Wednesday evening. Derek and Mike are here with us. How are you guys tonight?
Just splendid.
Awesome.
Doing fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you, Jedi Jarvo, Jessica, Jake. They're all on. Appreciate you guys jumping on. We're going to be talking about these new games that are going to be popping up here. It's pretty much blowing up right now. We have Fate of the Old Republic and the Galactic Racer. So I think these are going to be pretty cool coming out. Sounds like Galactic Racer is going to be out next year.
Yep.
I saw something for that said that Fate of the Old Republic was going to be released next year, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. It's going to be a little bit before that gets released. So let us know what you guys are excited about. Are you guys excited? Do you guys play the games? Are you gamers? And which ones you're excited about? And then we got some stuff that just popped up.
Do tell.
We're going to talk about that in a minute. But what's your guys' take on these new games?
Well, I'll start because I was saying this since we last met on December 11th, which was last Thursday. I was saying that December 11th is going to go down as one of the, especially for just this year, but one of the greatest days for Star Wars news, because we got a prequel comic series to Maul Shadow Lord announced on Thursday, which is really cool. 5 issues sort of just leading up to the Maul Shadow Lord series. That's cool. But also the 2 video games with trailers, not just an announcement, but also trailers, which is really cool. One's Old Republic and hopefully canon, and the other is a racing game, which we haven't really had in a long time in Star Wars, which is really, really awesome. So I'm excited. I play a lot of video games, and I've been begging for a multiplayer game in Star Wars for a long time. I know Battlefront 2 still goes very, very strong till this day, but the fact that Galactic Racer is coming next year and it's multiplayer, it's got me hyped up.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you 100%. So with Photor, because we had KOTOR,
I know.
I am so incredibly excited because they're using some of the same people from it, like that are creators. It was not on my radar. I was fully expecting them to talk about a remake of KOTOR or KOTOR, whatever you want to call it. KOTOR. I'm gonna say Knights of the Old Republic. And seeing that, I mean, I was instantly like, with all y'all, I was like, we're texting like, oh my god, oh, we got a trailer too. Like, it would have been one thing if they just said it, but yeah, the fact that like we got a trailer now, we don't know when it's coming out.
No,
like we do not know, and it could be a long time. That's some rumors I've been hearing that it could be a very long time.
So there was a few different, I guess, rumors that were running around, and I kind of had to, I was kind of mad about it a little bit. People in my Discord were like, Mike, you good? I was pretty upset on my live stream because I hate when people just lie about stuff. So the news that was going around that became fact, even though it was first reported as just a guesstimate by the person who initially made the report, but it was that it wouldn't come out until after 2030, and then it would be on the PlayStation 7, which both of which are false. But the PlayStation 7 wouldn't come out until at least 2034. And 2030 is still a long way away. It was, I guess, axed. That rumor was axed by Casey Hudson himself, who's making the game, as he said, it better not come out after 2030 because I'm not getting any younger. So he said it's definitely coming out before 2030. So that's exciting. I would still guess 2029 or 2028. It's not anytime soon. But yeah, we're not like whoever. So many people just took it as fact and have been spreading the rumor that it's past 2030, so we're not getting it for another 5 years, and it's not until the PlayStation 7. None of that is true. So yeah.
Well, and the whole PlayStation 7 idea is like they're gonna have to put it on every device. That's just the way things are now. And with Steam and the new Steam gaming system, and with all the handhelds, like, man, I just got the Asus Ally, like, that can play. It's basically a computer in your hand, but it can play Xbox, it can play PlayStation, it can play Steam games. That's the way of the future. Like the games that are going to be only on one platform are going to be few and far between. And 100%. It's definitely not going to be a Star Wars game.
Yeah, no, definitely not. I mean, the exclusive stuff, PlayStation has the exclusive like God of War or the Spider-Man games and whatever, but even those go on to Steam. You can PC players can play those games, or even Halo, which used to be an exclusive to Xbox. The next Halo game is coming out on PlayStation. So yeah, the days of the exclusives are definitely gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think these are
It
gonna be pretty cool. I was talking, I went live on TikTok, like I was telling you guys before, and I had a couple people jump on,
Yeah.
and, they're saying talking about, they're not gamers, but, I'm almost at the end of Jedi Survivor, but the storyline is what I like, and it sounds
Yeah.
like so once this comes to fruition, this is gonna be canon. Is that correct?
yeah.
That there has not been a confirmation from Lucasfilm, but the way they
I'm saying
talk about it,
yes.
I think so, yes, too.
Yeah.
I'm like 99.9% sure it will be canon. There just has yet to be that solid confirmation from Lucasfilm. But everything that they talk about the game, it does make you think it's gonna be canon, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Jan had something up here in reference to Outlaws, which I think you'll like, Mike, because you like that game, and there was a lot of hate on
Yeah.
that game when it came out.
It got so much hate, but it's very clear to why it got so much hate. It's an open world Star Wars game, and so many people just wanted to customize their own character. And that was the biggest complaint. The fact that it's Kay Vess, this random character nobody knows, a female character, which for some reason is an issue. And she's not customizable. That was the big concern, and that was pretty much why the game gets so much crap. That's simple as that. Because if you've played that game, visually it's awesome. It is open world. You can go to Jabba's palace. You can go to the cantina on Tatooine. It's really really cool. But yeah, Kay Vess thing was not something people could get past, which to me is kind of crazy because they don't have a problem with Cal Kestis. It's like,
Well, here's the difference though. That's a linear game. And
yes,
that's like a
yeah,
very story-based game. Like the whole point of that game is that there's a story.
true.
And there is like, Ron doesn't play games because he's not as cool as us. And we're gonna get him on these next games.
Yeah.
But that's the thing with those games is that you can watch them. You can watch a storyline. Outlaws, you
Sure.
can't do that. Like, I mean, I know there's aspects of it, but it's an open world,
Yeah.
play as you want kind of game. So the fact that you have that and don't have at least, I mean, they don't have customization and you don't have online play.
That's a big problem I had with it too. I mean, the multiplayer
Yeah.
aspect is so enormous. Outlaws could have been the Star Wars GTA, but it's not. So I agree with you there. I did like the story, the campaign or whatever you want to call it. The story itself, I did like it a lot, but I completely agree with you. As soon as you finish that story, you should be able to customize your character and play online. Obviously,
Yes.
that would have taken a many more years to create. An online, of course, is difficult to accomplish,
I'm
but that's something that's been done before and it can be done. Star Wars
yeah.
needs more multiplayer games.
Right. Like we need an open world online. Just like I've said this on this show before, just make Red Dead 2 as Star Wars.
Yeah, I agree, but the problem with that is Red Dead 2 is as big a map it is, it's still a small map in terms of Star Wars. Like you want to go to each planet, you want to explore the whole galaxy when that's not really possible. You can't make a game that big. It's like
I
impossible.
mean, I'd be okay with just like a few planets, kind of like what they did
Yeah.
with the Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order. Just give us a few in
Yeah.
some areas because they could have made those games a little bit more open world. And I'm not complaining because I love them. Like they're some of my favorite games ever made, but they're very linear.
Oh, Jedi 3 is one. I mean, Jedi 2, sorry. Survivor is so much more open world than the first game.
Right.
And it's still not fully open world, but it is so many more avenues you can explore and you can really get lost in the world, which is awesome. But as I know, even Ron, who doesn't play the games, and so many people who don't play the games, the same conversation has happened, especially with the Fate of the Old Republic announcement. And that is, I don't play video games, but I don't care. This looks awesome. Or I don't care because we're going to the Old Republic. Like that's the main takeaway for me is this is probably going to be canon, and that means we're getting canon Old Republic content for the first time, which it's a video game, yeah, but that means that there's going to be shows and movies and books and comics right along with it, probably not far after.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I'm going to say two things. The first thing I'm going to step away from that for a second, but in reference to this, I was watching something. Somebody had one of the polls up there, And I thought it was really cool because they did it in reference to like the Mandoverse, they did it in reference to the Old Republic, and they did it in reference to the universe that, you know, the regular Star Wars universe. Which one? But Fate or the Old Republic was this freaking close. There is so many fans for that. I mean, when this comes out, I think it could be not the second coming, but it could definitely be movies. And like you just said, movies, comics, books that are going to start going on to all this stuff because it's a whole new thing where we can just dive into. People love it. We got new characters, we got new Force users. So I just thought that was sort of interesting that there was that much love for the Old Republic, and we're going to see obviously some of that come to fruition. We've already seen that in the Lego. You know, you got Revan in there, so I think we're definitely getting this. Do you guys think?
Hey, real quick though, Brett had made a comment about he's watching on his TV and it's the different aspect. So we have 2 different feeds that are going on tonight on YouTube alone. So there is like one that's a mobile, and then there's one that's that. So Brett, you can switch it over. Just make sure you click on our profile and it'll switch over to the full screen. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you though.
No, that was good. No, that's perfect. I'm glad you did that, because it's funny now that they have that feature on here. We get 2 different, obviously, like you said, we get 2 different views. Do you guys think whoever because again, I didn't play these, but the character that had the bun is this her? Do you guys think?
No.
No.
That's Bastila Shan. She is sort of, I mean, her and Revan are like the Anakin and Padme of that era to an extent. I mean, it's their descendants that you play even in the, there's Revan right there. It's their descendants that you play in the Star Wars, the Old Republic game, the RPG there. So do I think it's her or even a descendant of her? The descendant aspect is probably more likely because the description says it's going to take place at the end of the Old Republic, which I have no idea what that means. The Old Republic is technically like 20,000 years long. Like, what does that mean? But it could be a descendant. Clearly, it's made to look like Bastila on purpose. I don't know why, because it's not her specifically.
So that we talk about it.
Well, yes,
of course, because they knew that we were going to do it on this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
You're welcome.
But the idea that it could be a descendant through that, our introduction to the Old Republic will be like talking about Revan and Bastila as these sort of ancient figures. For example, like how they talked about Luke in the sequels, like a legend, like getting that and then going back and telling the stories after the fact would be really, really cool. I get starting in the middle, as we talked about this last week, starting the story in the middle and then going back to the beginning like they did with the originals, the prequels, and the sequels. But starting at the end is a little strange. I think I fully have faith in Casey Hudson and his ability to tell a great Star Wars story, but it's weird to start at the end. It almost seems like they have an idea to continue and go back and do the beginning. But
is there any, so at the end, would there be any characters that some of us that don't know the Old Republic that you can sort of tie in together, you know, like maybe Yoda or somebody like that might have, you know, so we can sort of be like, oh, okay, cool. I don't know this whole story, but now I know this character that, you know, sort of relates to that.
I'm going to say
the Yoda
probably
thing,
not.
The Yoda thing, they would have to like sort of change the timeline because he's not that old. The only character I would think of when you talk about the end of the Old Republic, well, what ends the Old Republic era? It's Darth Bane. He ends it single-handedly by making the rule of 2. So if we were to get Darth Bane in this story, that would be incredible. I just don't really know.
We're not going to.
Yeah,
we are not.
Just from the trailer, it doesn't feel like that's the route they're going to go down, you know?
Yeah, the only thing I could see is that maybe they introduce like the big group of Sith that he then takes down, but I'm gonna say not even an iceberg's chance that there's gonna be Revan or that there's gonna be Bane.
What if we got introduced like at the very end of the game to a young Bane? They were like, oh yeah, this is Darth Bane,
like when he's mining and stuff or getting beat by his father.
Or no, like when he first becomes a Sith Lord and like he gets introduced and then it like ends and you're like, oh, we know where that guy goes.
Like I could see all of those Sith, like the Sith that were in charge at that point because there was so much infighting going on, and maybe
Yeah.
even some of those Jedi. Like I could see them tying in the Jedi that were in those conflicts, but I just do not see Bane unless it's like you said, Mike, a shadow almost.
Yeah.
Kind of like, Plagueis poking out on the wall.
Yeah.
Wait, what's our timestamp here? 15
minutes.
15 and a half minutes
Acolyte.
before we talked about the Acolyte.
Yeah. My thing too is like, first of all, look at that. I mean, look at how good that just looks right there. It
It's
just gets you
insane.
so excited. I know it's probably
Yeah.
years and years away, but
Is
it's
this a new
exciting.
character, you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a version, like, for example, it could be Ben Solo. Ben Solo is sort of a canon version of a Ben Skywalker or Jason Solo from Legends that they just use those aspects of. For example, Jason Solo turns to the dark side, just like Ben Solo does, is the son of Han and Leia, just like Ben Solo is. So it's just a canon version of that character. There's aspects that are the same, and there's aspects that are very different. So it could be that that character right there is a descendant of Bastila and Revan, and could be a character we've seen before in Legends, but it's sort of a canon version with different aspects being changed.
Gotcha.
The coolest part of all this, though, is that they brought back Casey Hudson. That's Lucasfilm realizing the importance of this project, realizing how much fans are going to dive into this game. And if it's done incorrectly, they're going to really crap all over it and be like, it's not as good as KOTOR. But now they got the same guy doing it, so it's their best chance to succeed. And it's just a genius move. Like, that's so smart of them to bring the guy back from 23 years ago to do the first canon project for Old Republic. It's just
And again, no one was expecting this.
no.
I mean,
Not at all.
I have scoured the internet trying to find anyone that remotely had an
Yeah.
idea. I was asking like some friends that are insiders in the gaming world. They didn't have any idea, or at least they're saying they didn't. The fact that they kept this under lock and key so much is pretty incredible. Like more so than some of the movies.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Lucasfilm is so good at keeping secrets, and this is just another example of that. I remember leading up to last Thursday, the reports were that we are likely getting a Knights of the Old Republic remake trailer on Thursday night. That was all they talked about. And then it became, right before Thursday night, that the reports turned into, we're getting an update on an Old Republic game, or sorry, on a Star Wars game that ends in quote unquote Old Republic. So then it became sort of more cryptic that it wasn't the Knights of the Old Republic. So, but again, like you said, nobody saw Fate of the Old Republic coming. Nobody. So the fact that they can keep that a secret, I mean, what else are they keeping from us at this point?
I know that keeps going through my brain right now. I'm like, not even on the game aspect of like movies, shows. Like, where is our Skeleton Crew season 2? Like, is it done? Like, have they been doing it? Oh man.
Well, I immediately go to the live action shows too, because Ahsoka season 2 is the only one we have announced yet. And when back at Star Wars Celebration this year, when Dave was asked about that, because they were like, look, Ahsoka season 2 is the only one announced. Is there anything else live action coming to Disney Plus? And he was like, oh yeah, it's already in the works, like they're already working on it and they just can't tell us yet. So I remember when Skeleton Crew was announced, we had no idea what that was. When Andor was announced, we had no idea what that was. Well, we knew what it was, but we were like, why are we getting an Andor spinoff?
Right.
But it ended up being one of the greatest things ever. So they clearly can keep a secret. And the question becomes, after Ahsoka season 2, what's the next live action show? Could they have already filmed the Skeleton Crew season 2? Could it be a Book of Boba Fett season 2?
I think they've already worked on it. I don't think it's filmed, but I think they're working on it. I think there's something that's happening. Especially with everything they're doing with the Void and Unreal Engine. I think there's a good chance that there's stuff that's been done. I don't know.
Skeleton Crew wise or something different?
Yeah. No, Skeleton Crew. Oh, totally something different too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Skeleton Crew is being worked on.
Yeah.
I could see that being one of those things where they're just like, oh, by the way, in a month, Skeleton Crew season 2 drops. And like,
yeah.
whoa, because they do that stuff sometimes, or maybe not a month, but, like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
When they really need those ratings, when they need that boost.
Yeah. Well, they do it a lot with the animation side because I feel like with animation they can keep it even more of a secret because you can just bring in people to do voices and whatever. But somebody brought up in the chat, was the droid an HK droid? Looks like one. It kind of does look like one. We don't get a good look at it from afar, but that would be really, really cool. The HK droids are sort of the ones you see in the Old Republic games. But again, this is the end of the Old Republic. You're talking it could be anywhere from 1,000 years before the prequels or 5,000 years, or anywhere really. So the droids should look different. The ships should look different. Everything should look different because it's thousands and thousands of years ago. It's like how in the Acolyte, in the Acolyte, everything was supposed to look different. The droids look different. The ships look different because it's a different time.
Yeah, and somebody said the volume, not the void. Yeah, the void was that was the VR, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the volume, but Unreal Engine, you know what I mean. Get out of here.
While we're talking about that, looking, and you're talking about, let's watch that trailer again.
You got it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's watch it again. I mean, that looks so freaking good. I mean, the water dripping. I mean, what they've done. I mean, it looks like a freaking movie. It really does. Which, I mean, I know you guys are more excited about this. I mean, I'm excited to see where this story takes us. Again, that's for me. I want to know, and I'm going to watch the storytelling of it as we go along. But that's what I think is most excited for me. So I get to see a little bit more of this. But that, I mean, like I said, the rain, the picture of her face. I mean, the hand to just flying that. It's just incredible what they're doing nowadays.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it looks like a movie. Like it looks real life. It looks so real.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I'm so hyped for this. Like, I was sitting there watching. I'm just like shaking my head, like, no, this can't. Like, they're lying to us. And then that's the official release. I'm like, no, they're lying. This can't be a thing.
Do you think it'll be 27? You think it'll be in 27?
No, I think 26 will be Racers and the other game, Zero Company. I think 27 is going to either be Jedi 3, or Knights of the Old Republic remake. Actually, no, not Knights of the Old Republic remake. Eclipse. I think Eclipse is secretly being worked on. I think Eclipse is close to being done.
I think so too. I'm saying 2028, 2029 for this.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. But going back to what you were saying of how like real this looks and whatever, I haven't felt this for Star Wars really since Andor season 2. Like that, I guess episode, what was it, 8 and 9? Was it 8 and 9? Yeah, the back-to-back episodes of 8, 9, where you just feel so much, like emotionally just feel so much about the gravity of the situation, about like the emotional connection to these characters, whatever. That minute and a half trailer makes you feel like that. Like, holy crap, this is awesome. It looks so good. It gets you so hyped. Like I haven't had that feeling in months and months and months when it comes to Star Wars. And it's honestly like nothing else. Like it feels like just this rush of, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I just can't wait. The coolest part too is like it's the same thing it is for every Star Wars project. There's Easter eggs in there for people who know what they're looking at, who played the games before, references to the ships of the Old Republic and the droids of the Old Republic and characters like Bastila Shan. All that stuff is right in the trailer, right in that 1 minute long thing. And then there's just, if you don't know any of that, it looks awesome. Like there's no denying how great it looks. I will bring up something that Steve brought up in the chat too about it looking like Lanupa. I mentioned this in my breakdown video too. The planet in the trailer was, I sort of asked my Discord, I said, does this look like a planet we've seen before? And the one thing that they came back with was Lanupa. And this is where I think the Old Republic can really get cool things going, because Lanupa was the planet in Skeleton Crew that they go to where there's like that spa. And you think it's like going to be this crazy pirate planet. It's literally just a spa for rich people.
That's so great.
But on the walls is this ancient Sith writing. There's these snowy mountaintops just like there are in the trailer. So at some point, Lanupa was some sort of Sith place where there's ancient Sith writing on the wall. You could really have a planet in the Old Republic be like what we just saw in the trailer, a former battleground of an Old Republic battle where Sith Lords existed on that planet for maybe years and years and years. And then thousands of years later in the Skywalker saga, you see that exact same planet, but now it's a spa for rich people. Like they have the opportunity to do crazy stuff like that, where you can see planets that we've seen in the original trilogy that we are, or in the Skywalker saga, that we already know and love. We already know what they look like, what's happening there, and you could shift them to just slightly to look completely different, maybe be like a Sith planet or something like that. Like they can do really cool things with visually things we already know. Because character-wise, like Ron brought up earlier, we don't know any of these characters from the Skywalker saga. Yoda, even being almost 1,000 years old, he's not old enough. So no character is going to be recognizable. However, the planets will be. They're not changing. So getting to see familiar places and how they change throughout the years will be really cool.
What about Venestra? Well, I guess because she came in with Yoda, so there's nobody from that either. Even from the Acolyte, we're not going to see anybody into that. So
the only one would be Maz Kanata because she's 1,000, but even 1,000 doesn't get you there. 1,000 does not get you there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
1,000 doesn't get you there.
Nope.
All right, so we have two more. So we have the other trailer for the other game, and we have another new thing. Should we do the other new thing first, or should we stick?
No.
Stick with the games first.
Yeah,
okay.
Games first.
This other one's too big.
All right, so let's watch this one, the new Galactic Racer trailer, and then we'll talk about that.
I want it back. The way it was before the Empire shut it down. Massive engines. Lightning fast. Lives on the line. The pilots were incredible. Best of the best. United by one beautiful dream. The galaxy needs racing!
That's so awesome too, and I think that plays into what you were talking about with the Easter eggs and stuff. For me, and I don't know if I have a story on this that we can watch. Hopefully, if not, I'll probably just have to watch somebody racing. But the Easter eggs on Jakku are going to be freaking awesome, and I think it's cool because again, I wasn't a big fan of the sequels, but now we got Jakku. We got all these things that are downed in Jakku, like these Star Destroyers and the AT-AT, you know. So, and who knows what else they're going to come up with on this planet. And that's where they're going to be racing. And I think this is going to be a cool one too. And again, the graphics in this are exciting. They're showing these Easter eggs already, and I think they're just going to hit a home run with this as well. And it's going to help out for 2026, as we've been saying right now. 2026 is going to be an amazing year for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh,
And here's the thing that I think is a major purpose for this game is that this is for like the TikTok and the short form kind of things of people playing this online, doing racing, trolling and stuff, and it's going to be massive, massive free publicity for Star Wars.
Yeah, that's the big deal right now with not having a multiplayer online game is you don't have that. Like you said, people clip stuff off of streamers and video game players off of multiplayer games all the time because you can get these funny little interactions with racers and whatever, and that game gives you that. I think so many people, as people in the chat were even saying, don't sleep on this game. People, because of the greatness that was Fate of the Old Republic in that announcement, they're underestimating or almost not appreciating this game because it comes out next year. It looks incredible, and the time period it exists in. It's post original trilogy, post Battle of Jakku, but it's also in this Mandoverse era. You get Saboba back.
Let's go, Splimo.
And you hear his pod race iconic sound go by of the so like I hope, because there's a campaign and a multiplayer, I hope the campaign is you have to beat Saboba at the end. Did you guys play the Lego Star Wars Complete Saga game?
No,
Derek?
but my nephew did, and it all looks amazing.
Yeah, so one of the hardest video game levels, and maybe it's because I was a younger kid, but I ever played was the pod racing Lego Star Wars level, and people who've played it can attest to that. It's extremely difficult. In the newer Lego game, the new Skywalker Saga one, it's pretty easy. Like they made the level easier, which I don't like particularly. But I'm hoping that when you race Saboba, it's like the hardest level of any video game you've ever played because it should be hard. Also, with that trailer, you can see a bunch of different pod racers. It's not just pod racers themselves. It's speeder bikes. It's other just, I guess, speeders like Luke's on Tatooine, or Solos or Han Solos at the beginning of the Solo movie on Corellia. There's different versions, and I'm hoping with the multiplayer, again talking about customizable, you can choose whatever speeder bike you want, or / pod race / whatever. You can choose what you want, and you can completely customize it and get upgrades and all that other stuff. I certainly hope it's very customizable in that way. But in the trailer, there's multiple different versions of racers. So we'll hopefully get a lot of variation when it comes to that, and fiery explosions. You're not just going to, like in Mario Kart, just go off the map and then the thing picks you up, the cloud picks you up and puts you on the map. You're going to blow up in these fiery explosions. It's going to be awesome. So
I will say, I think was it Krytosa said something about the Falcon. I thought it was the Falcon too, but it's not. It's definitely I think it is a YT ship about halfway through or 30 seconds in, somebody said. But it does almost look like the Falcon coming in, and then when it stretches out, or when you see a different angle, it's not the Millennium Falcon, which I think would be cool. But again, there's just so many different ships and racers in it. Again, Easter eggs, fun things for people to look at to see who's coming in on these ships. Is there going to be different? Who are you going to select to be your drivers? Your racers.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be cool too. Are you going to be able to put, are they going to have new characters in this? Are we picking from old characters? What's your guys' thought on that?
I mean, Sebulba being in it does make me think you could get some familiar faces. The main character of the campaign is supposed to be named Shade. He's the guy you see in the trailer.
Helmet on
Um,
or whatever.
the helmet on. So I'm guessing he's going to be like a new character, unidentified character. I hope you see some other racers. I mean, you see a ton. It could be like an Easter egg. Like we don't know. We know now, but like you don't get introduced to every racer that Anakin races against in the Phantom Menace. So it could be some of those guys if they survived that race. That is, and the fan favorite is Ben Quadinaros, of course. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
hopefully we'll
I
see
bet
him.
you'll see him in there. I would almost guarantee that. And if you don't see him right away, he will be one of those ones like you said, where you can upgrade or you can buy it, or once you
Yeah.
get past a certain level, that gets
Yeah.
unlocked or whatever.
Well, I think skins will be a big thing because that's the way it is. And if anybody doesn't know what a skin is, it's so you can buy them, almost always pay to have them, and so you can have things that look different. So that you might be able to buy some of the pod racers, or maybe you're able to buy things from other Star Wars movies or comic books or whatever. But my question is, are you going to be able to customize your ride?
Yeah, they didn't say one way or another, but I completely agree with you. I think it has to be because when you
Yep.
even look at this poster, there's so many different variations that you could make of that pod race up top. There's so many different pod racers you could do. That's not Saboba's. That's not Anakin's. Like you could do anything you want with that. And then
Yeah.
of course you got like the speeder bike from like Endor, like you have on the left, or the solo one from Corellia on the right.
Mhm.
And this poster doesn't even show the land speeder that Luke has, which is in the trailer. So I hope that yes, you can maybe choose a model, for example,
Mhm.
like the left or the right or the top, and then fully customize it. Like why not?
Yeah. Well, and they did that in Squadrons where, I mean, it was,
Yeah.
again, it was skins, but that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
That's
totally
perfectly
fine.
fine. Yeah, you can do events where like you can unlock new skins and whatever, and have like these big thing for example, if it comes up before the Mandalorian and Grogu, which I doubt it will, but if it does, then you could have like a Mando skin, and it could be like a all chrome N1 starfighter type thing. Like that would be awesome.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you'll be able to, like, with the skins or whatever customizing is have Anakin's racer from back in the day.
Yeah.
Get the yellow one, or and I'm sure with Sebulba being in it, I'm sure you'll be able to pick his up. But just some different pod racers that we saw from before. Especially, I think a lot of people are going to want to use Anakin's or Sebulba's just because those are the two most popular in the universe. But being able to use all these speeder bikes and land speeders and different things like that, I think will be an interesting way to get more people involved in it. And I think it's definitely going to help with being the multiplayer. So you can
Oh,
get out there
100%.
and build your own things and have conversations with your friends, and again, just bringing that Star Wars universe to the top again, so that people are playing it, looking at it, watching it. And in something like this, do you think, just because I'm not a gamer, do you think there will be anything in reference to Ahsoka or Mando that would give us any Easter
No.
eggs or things like that, or not really?
I think there could be things about it in there, but as far as like actual like spoilers or anything that has to do with the storyline, no. This is going to be a fun game. This is going to be a game to get anyone to play, and it's again, it's going to be that big social media draw. Now, Ron, I can see you on the tour bus, like just like shelling out some some of this game with us for sure. But yeah, this is not going to be a deep storyline by any means, and it's not supposed to be.
Right.
No, I mean, there's clearly a campaign there, so there's a story for the Shade character, and he says like he's out for revenge or something. I forget.
Yeah.
So maybe out for revenge against Sebulba. Like there'll be a story for that character specifically, but not for like it won't be connected to much. I was trying to think while you were talking about a character that we know from this time period that maybe would be into racing. I can't think of anybody. Like the only one I could come close to is maybe like Lando, whatever he's up to, or maybe if Han's getting into some racing or something. I don't know. Maybe even Sabine, but that depends on when it takes place. Is she
What
already
about?
pretty?
Oh, it's too early for Poe, isn't it?
Yeah, he'd be too young.
Yeah, sorry, Brett. My dog is going absolutely wild tonight. She is super excited about these games.
Yeah, clearly.
She's really, really into them.
Yeah, so I mean, I think could we see any familiar faces? Maybe. I think like you could get like a DLC or an event where Lando shows up and you have to race him or something. I don't know. Something cool like that would be fun. But what's also something cool is Jakku, of course, is in the trailer. The other planet, the snowy planet, is Endo Prime, which is actually from the original Star Wars Episode 1 racing game from 1999. So it's bringing back even aspects of that game from 26 years ago. And there's like another gas planet or something, not gas, but like this acid looking stuff around. So there's 3 planets in the game that we know of. But that leads to, of course, more updates with more planets, more racetracks and all that, where we like you can get a racetrack on Hoth or something. Like you can just get more and more and more added to the game. Like if you're only launching with 3 racetracks at launch, then you're going to have plenty of room to grow with Star Wars planets.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be able to unlock some of these different things and have different planets and go on. And I wonder if there'll be any. Do you think there'll be any Sith that you, or at least some bad guys that you can grab and put in there as a driver, possibly?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, Saboba's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah,
but
there could be a few
no.
more.
I mean, I don't think like. I think you'll be able to customize your character, but I think they'll all look like the main guy where it's just you don't see your face. So it's like a helmeted character, and maybe you get to customize what the helmet looks like. Maybe you can like get a Mandalorian helmet or a clone trooper helmet, stuff like that. Like that would be really cool if you can customize your character who's sitting in the pod. That would be awesome. But I don't think you'll be seeing many faces. Like playable characters, you'll probably get to customize your own, and that's about it for the multiplayer, because everybody else will have their own customized characters. And it's not like you'll be sitting there as Luke Skywalker in a pod racer or anything like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I think it'll be fun. And I think, it's something that I actually might try to, pick up on. Now, when you talk about paying, does that mean, so do I have to get credits while I'm playing, or can I just go, okay, add my MX to my what I'm playing and be like, okay, cool, I want to buy this and spend $10 or $50?
You can always do that, Ron.
I'm sure
you can do that in every game ever made at these points. The cash grab for skins is huge.
Yes. I'm guessing it's going to be a little of both. For example, like in every game, you have a battle pass. You have to buy the battle pass, but some stuff comes free with the battle pass. So like you can buy stuff in a store, or you could get something from leveling up. Like there's different ways to get stuff. And yes, buying it is also one way.
Sorry, I'm laughing so hard at the sexy Darth Talon on a speeder. Take my money. Oh my gosh.
See,
that's incredible. But you know what?
You're not wrong.
Here's the thing. Also, you have to understand that Disney just invested $1 billion in like open AI and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Where they already been invested all this money in Fortnite and Unreal Engine. This is why they're doing it. They know that they're making a fortune on these skins.
Yeah.
So this game is not going to just come out and be like Squadrons, where it was like, hey, we wanted to do more with it, but we didn't. So it's only $25. It's like, here's the game. The game's simple. There's not a lot to it, just like Fortnite, but you're going to be able to get skins all the time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great, and I'm here for it.
It's got to be really cool. And the idea that, again, it's a multiplayer Star Wars game, but there's so many racing games that have a lot of popularity. And to think that, like, you can get a big portion of a Star Wars fandom to just do racing games all day long. For example, I've played Mario Kart's always the big one. Mario Kart is like one of the top 5 most sold video games of all time. Now, I don't think this game will do that, but if it's anything like that and it's multiplayer, which Mario Kart doesn't really, well, it does have, but it's like, it's Mario Kart multiplayer. Nobody's really doing that. So it's more so the multiplayer aspect for the Star Wars community that I think, especially in a time where we don't have a multiplayer game other than Battlefront 2, that people will be very, very excited for it.
Burnout Paradise. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, well, it's actually some of the creators on the game are people who made Burnout and Need for Speed. So it's gonna be
Oh,
just like those games. Yeah.
oh, so I've seen that Need for Speed. That's pretty intense. So that obviously this is going to be pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah. And actually the thing too with this, and it has sort of an audience already, is that pod racing game, the episode 1 racer game from 1999, was a very, very popular game. Like people to this day talk about that game like it was awesome. And it was. If you look up the graphics now, they're pretty bad. But that's why we're getting a new game 26 years later, because there is a audience for that. Like people do want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be incredible once this gets going. Like Derek was talking about, just the social media thing about it,
Yeah.
where it's just going to be building up and building up, which I can almost see it coming out before Mandalorian and Grogu, just because they want to get that hype up, sort of like you were talking about with the comics for Maul Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to send. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting all 5 of them, whether they drop every week or they drop all
Yeah.
at once, and reading it so I can catch up and know exactly what's going to go on, or at least have an idea what's going on beforehand. So I think that could be really cool to get people hyped up for Mandalorian and Grogu if they pop it out, or even for Ahsoka if it doesn't come out before the movie. Get it in there for Ahsoka before Ahsoka, so people are getting hyped up and want to watch this.
Yeah. The thing with when you looked at Battlefront 2 this year, it's an 8-year-old game, and it spiked way,
don't
way
say
up.
that.
It
Don't
is.
say that. That makes me feel so old.
The viewership numbers are, I mean, the active player count went so high when Andor Season 2 came out, because when Andor Season 2 came out, people were so hyped on Star Wars that they just wanted to play something Star Wars. They wanted to live in the world. And the only multiplayer game they had was an 8-year-old game. And the player count went skyrocketing, broke records, because it was the only option. So like you said, if this game comes out and then Ahsoka Season 2 comes out, and then people are so hyped up for Ahsoka Season 2 that they want to play in the world of Star Wars, then they'll play this game. And they can play with their friends, and they can play by themselves, and whatever. Pause. Yeah.
No, I think it's good. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, and the whatever you call it, the playing with other people is going to be fun too, because you haven't had that in a while in some of these games.
Think of the shit talking that's gonna happen. I'm ready for it. Y'all. I don't think y'all like. I'm so hyped for the other game, but this one, like, just the pure aspect of online game playing and simple game of just grinding out and beating people. I love it.
Yes, technically Squadrons was more recent, but Squadrons
doesn't
didn't
count.
have. Yeah, it didn't have.
Wasn't done.
Yeah, and it didn't have the
And-
player count anywhere close to Battlefront 2.
Well, and like I just said, like they said, they're like, hey, we wanted to do more. We just couldn't because of the timing. That's why the game was $25 when it came out from launch. Like you could buy it at the store for $25. That's why, the first couple weeks it was crazy because no one cared if they lost $25. And the game was good. It just didn't have enough. There's like 2 maps. And they're the same map basically. So yeah.
It had the right idea for it, because isn't Harrison Dula in that game too?
Yeah, and the mechanics are fantastic in that game. Like if you're doing it with flight sim stuff, it's incredible.
Is that Squadrons?
Yeah. And that's where, like, that was one thing a lot of people, and I know myself included, wanted them to make it just a flight simulator game. Like, let's have a Star Wars flight simulator game. You've already done all the mechanics, just put it in the other worlds. And, like, they're like, oh yeah, all 25 of you aren't gonna fund this.
Jack just came into
putting up a poll. I know we got to a whole bunch of other people jump up in here and see which if you guys are Galactic Racer or Fate of the Old Republic. Let us know what
I like that.
What you're more excited about.
I know this Fate of the Old Republic is going to win this, but again, I have to say, one is coming next year, and one could be years and years away.
Yeah.
And so, just the recency thing. Of course, I'm more excited for Fate of the Old Republic, but you got to give Galactic Racer its flowers. Jack did just come into the chat here and kind of blow my mind as he says Kinberg's trilogy could be Old Republic. I don't think they would continue the Skywalker saga. They'll definitely continue the Skywalker saga, but Kinberg's trilogy, Simon Kinberg, who co-created Star Wars Rebels, his trilogy was never confirmed to be in a specific era. So if he's coming back, the guy who co-created Rebels with Dave Filoni, if he's coming back and making an Old Republic trilogy, I mean, that would be incredible. That would be a secret for sure, and that's maybe why we haven't heard much about that trilogy at all.
Yeah, that's pretty. That would be amazing.
Yeah, it sounds a little too good to be true, but
yeah,
got me excited.
All right, the poll is up, everybody. I'm quick on that.
Nice.
Hold it up.
Well, and like we were talking about, even with everything coming out next year, because of the time frame or the timeline where I'm most excited for Maul right now because it's coming out first. Yeah. And then again, once that, as we get closer, I mean, I'm probably as excited about all three of these things that are coming out next year. Some of the other books and the comics that are starting to pop up now that we're seeing that are coming out next year. It's just going to be amazing. But right now, my hype is for Maul, and I think who said that on there? Somebody was that guy B. He's excited about Racer. It's next year. I mean, you get to play it next year. And hopefully 3.5 months we get to see them all, and then as we continue, I mean, we're less than 6 months away from, well, I guess
almost 5 months.
We get to see them all. You know you love the duck. Come on, don't act like
we're less than 6 months away from that freaking movie.
Yep, it's crazy.
So it's going to go fast. Close. Yeah, for everything.
Yeah. And I do have to mention too, because Disney has mentioned it multiple times now, or Lucasfilm has mentioned it multiple times, that 2027 is going to be a year-long celebration of the 50th anniversary of Star Wars. Year-long is a little weird to me. Right now, the only thing we know of that's coming out in 2027 for sure is Starfighter. So I think they're keeping some secrets, and maybe I don't know how. Like Derek was saying last week, he thinks that they got 2 seasons of Maul Shadowlord already done. I wouldn't be surprised.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they have 3.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 2027 is going to be jam-packed because of the 50th anniversary. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're getting live-action shows and season 2 of Maul, like stuff we just don't even know about yet.
Yeah,
very, very soon.
I agree with you for that. I think 27, if they're already talking about how it's going to be this whole, 50th anniversary, and we got Celebration that year, we got Starfighter that year, there's definitely going to be some other things coming out. There's going to be another animation, whether it's Maul or a Tales.
Yeah,
I think they'll drop a couple more novels for sure. I mean, the comics right now are just freaking insane. There's like 2 different things besides the Darth Vader one that's going on. If you're still on here, there's another name of another series that's out right now in reference to Star Wars. So that stuff, and I totally agree with you in reference to other stuff that they're not even mentioning coming out, whether it's like you guys both said, whether it's Skeleton Crew that they have in their back pocket and they're going to wait and drop that. I don't think they'll drop that in 26, but they could drop it in 27. So I think that would be an amazing thing. So you got Starfighter, possibly Skeleton Crew, another season of Maul, because they're not going to skip a year. You're definitely going to get in 27. We're definitely going to get a season 2 of Maul.
Yeah.
Along with Starfighter for sure. And, possibly another game if it's Jedi Survivor, which that would be a great year to drop it.
Yeah, it would.
As much as we're going to see Cal Kestis in Ahsoka season 2, that would still be cool for them to drop that.
Yes.
I think we're going to see him in that. Jedi Knights is what he was what Jacob just said. So there's another one called Jedi Knights along with the Darth Vader comic series that's out. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
I think Jacob needs to get on here again and talk about Legacy of Vader.
Yeah, 100%. Because Legacy of Vader's doing every time a new issue comes out, it's like crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
But going back to what Ron was saying too, a big video game is definitely coming in 2027. But what it is, I mean, Jedi 3 would be great. KOTOR remake would be insane. Like, we don't know. And spinning it back to Galactic Racer, it really did come out of nowhere as much as Fate of the Old Republic did, but Fate of the Old Republic was an announcement of a game that just started production. Galactic Racer was an announcement of a game that comes out next year. So the fact that they kept that a secret up until it comes out in a couple months or however many months, at least less than 12, they've kept that a secret so much. So maybe Eclipse or Jedi 3 or Knights of the Old Republic remake is also being kept a secret, and they'll announce it less than 10 months away from its release, like they did with this game. So we really don't know what's going on over there, and they're keeping some pretty good secrets. But when you look at 2026 and then 2027 as well, it's going to be insane.
I know. And on that note, I do have to jet, fellas. I do. But man, this is fun. This is so exciting. And next week, I'm going to be watching later too for the last trailer you have.
Yes, you got to miss out.
I am, but it's a good stopping point. So thank you guys, and see everybody next week or next time.
Yeah, see you, brother. Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
So yeah, I think Jedi 3, and then there were 2. I think Jedi 3 could definitely be out in 27 because there's such a big hype for it, with Cal and with that character.
Yeah,
and I think that would set off a bunch of people too. I think that would be fantastic for that to come out in 27.
Oh, 100%. There has to be some big game because big show, big movie, sure, but big game is also very important, especially when since 2023 we've gotten a big game every single year, and they've been saying that we were going to get one every single year for the, I guess, future, inevitable. So we're gonna see, in no particular order, Jedi 3, Knights of the Old Republic remake, Fate of the Old Republic, Eclipse, in some order. We don't know which order it will be, but 2027, 8, 9, and 30 will be those 4 games in some sort of order.
Yeah, and they're starting to drop them big time. And like you said just a minute ago, Galactic Racer's been, it's secret, and all of a sudden, boom, here you go.
For a couple years at least, they've been working on this game and nobody knew.
Yeah.
So when we talk about like leaks and scoops that we always do on these live streams, the leaks and scoops that we get are almost intentional to get us excited for certain things. Like there's no way that Lucasfilm, for example, the trailer we're about to watch for The Mandalorian, there's no reason that this could have gotten leaked if Lucasfilm didn't want it to. Because if they can keep a secret for multiple years on a racing game for Star Wars where nobody saw it coming, then you can't tell me that they can't keep a secret a Mando trailer. Like they clearly do these things on purpose to get people excited. For example, when they were going to announce the Rey movie a couple of years back, probably 4 or 5 months before they were going to do that at Star Wars Celebration, you started seeing all these leaks of, they're working on a Rey movie. And clearly that was just to get people excited for the announcement that happens 4 months later at Star Wars Celebration. But they just spread things out on purpose, because if they didn't want it out, they can clearly keep a secret. And we see it time and time again with like Luke Skywalker, The Mandalorian, or anything like that. If they want to keep a secret, they can do it, and they can do it really, really well.
And I just saw this today, so and that's why I'm asking you if you've seen this already. So Daisy was on that Kelly morning show. Was that from a while back, or was that recently?
I think that was 2 days ago.
Okay, so she said some stuff on there. I was pretty surprised that she said.
Yes.
So those are things I don't know. Did you talk about that yesterday, or are you going to talk about that tomorrow?
I talked about it yesterday a little bit, but it seems like, well, one, she's got the Rey haircut, which doesn't really mean much, but it means something. She had that short hair for a really long time. For a specific role, I think she had to shave her head or something, and then she kept the short hair for like years. And now she's got the longer Rey hair. So it's definitely not nothing, but it's not like her hair's long. It guarantees we're getting Rey soon. But the latest rumor for the Rey movie was they're going to start filming in April. It makes sense because Starfighter is going to stop filming at some point in the next couple of months. So the next Star Wars movie has got to hit the ground running almost immediately after. So The Mandalorian and Grogu ended in December of last year, and Starfighter started in August. So a couple months off, and then you're probably going to see a couple months off, and then the Rey movie start filming as well. But
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Is this a good segue into
yes,
our
I
next?
need to watch it again. So as you pull it up, I'll give a little bit of. So right before we went live today, I haven't been home in a couple hours, and apparently that's a long time in Star Wars newsland, because I go on my computer and first thing I open up is a 13-second new Mando leaked trailer. And it is only 13 seconds, but it does indicate that the rumor that we're getting a Mando trailer attached to Avatar Fire and Ash, which comes out tomorrow, is probably likely. So we might be getting a new Mando trailer tomorrow, but this is our 13 seconds of new footage for The Mandalorian and Grogu.
And we will probably watch it a couple times.
Yes.
Here we go.
Again, I love that it's not in English, because it's clearly a leak and it's like it can't be in English. The coolest part about that is all of those monsters. I said I'd never seen them before, and I hadn't. Well, I guess I had. They were just really, really small. They are all pieces on the hollow chessboard on the Millennium Falcon. So the one that we saw in the trailer, we knew that because that was, everybody in their moms was breaking down that trailer. But every other creature in this is also a member of that hollow chess table. So pretty much the hollow chess table in the Millennium Falcon, you placed Din Djarin in the middle, and that's the live action scene we're watching right here in this trailer.
It's so cool. And I think, like you said, for them to bring those characters in there is obviously satisfying. For sure, Easter eggs for myself, just to see those things along with everybody else. But those are cool to me because it goes back to the OG, and you get to bring these things up in a brand new movie that's technically next year's going to, 50 years later, you're seeing these characters come to life along with full size, and they're going to be fighting.
Yeah. I mean, they've done this before with The Mandalorian. John and Dave are really good at this, is bringing back just random side characters or side pieces from the original trilogy. For example, R5, the R2 unit that has a bad motivator that Luke and Uncle Owen almost buy at the beginning of A New Hope, but instead they buy R2-D2. That droid just hangs around Tatooine for a while, and then in The Mandalorian Season 3, he becomes like a main character. He becomes Pelimoto's droid, and then Din Djarin takes him off Pelimoto's hands, and then he becomes a hero of the New Republic, which is just insane. So they've done this before, where they just take tiny little details from the original trilogy and make them really big, and that's exactly what they're doing here with hollow chess pieces. They were like, hey, those creatures that are holograms? Let's bring those to life and have Din Djarin fight them in an arena.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. Well, and I think you're right. This could be a possible little snippet of what we're going to possibly get tomorrow. And I'm sure once that drops in the theaters, I would almost guarantee you it'll be out here. It'll be popping up on, social media soon, because they're going to want to bring that clientele as well, on the social media for that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, they don't want a grainy version of the trailer to be the one that people see first. Like, they'd rather see the HD one and get millions of views on YouTube. But what's very actually important about the trailer we just watched, and we can watch it again, but this is the first bit of new footage that we've had since the last trailer, which was like months and months ago. Everything has been the same since then. Like, all of it has been different versions of the same scenes. This is an actual new scene that we've never seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. And this will be an interesting thing. And I think, what does Jacob say here? Anyone else think this Force Unleashed 2 scene, that gladiator arena?
Yeah, Force Unleashed 2 is that gladiator, I guess, level, for lack of a better word. A little bit, I guess.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't know. The way I put it on, we can watch it again. I don't know if I can actually stop it on this one. I might have to redo it on mine. But let's watch it again. Yeah,
It's awesome.
Yeah.
The
It's
cool thing is you see Din Djarin with the sword there, and we were going to talk about this today anyway because there was a leaked picture of a Black Series figure for the Mandalorian and Grogu. It comes with Din Djarin and Grogu and accessories like most action figures do. And one of the action figures accessories was a sword, and we were like, why does Din Djarin have a sword? And that's why he's using the sword in the gladiator ring to fight those chess pieces, which is, I mean, just so unbelievably cool. And one leak after the next, sword in a little minifig, and then the next clip we see is him wielding the sword. Coincidence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so. And that's the cool part about this. And I think that hopefully we will get that tomorrow and get to see the rest of that trailer, with some more stuff in it. And I think you're right with them dropping that sword and being like, and I wonder if this was something like, if that figure was dropped unannounced or something like that, are they going to go ahead and it was like, oh shit, we just saw this, we got to put something out for it, so hey, we got this spot for this, what he's holding this sword with, let's drop this part of the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the toy marketing, especially when they have a thing like a sword, they're gonna want to sell Din Djarin action figures with swords. It's just a little nice accessory, like with the N1 Starfighter. The Razor Crest is gone. Now buy him with the M1 Starfighter. It's a new Lego set. It's a new toy. It's a new everything. So the sword is an added new toy. He already had the Darksaber. He already had the Beskar spear, and now he has a sword. So check out Din Djarin with a sword now. I don't know if they intended on it being leaked or not, but yes, they had this clip ready to go where he's wielding a sword in the gladiator ring. So my question to you and to the chat, of course, is how does Din end up in that arena? Like in the trailer, we see him and Grogu in the audience watching Stinky the Hut fight or whatever he's doing. He just flexes on us. And Grogu's eating the popcorn and they're just hanging out in the audience. How do they go from that to Din in the arena fighting people or monsters? Like, what happens there?
Yeah, I mean, and that's going to be obviously part of the story, but I think it's very similar to when he was it the opening of season 2 when he goes to that the fighting arena.
Yep.
And just gets, he goes there hoping that he can get some information, and all of a sudden he's fighting everybody, and ended up stringing the one guy up so that the night wolves or whatever can attack him, and instead of him killing him. But I think there's going to be something obviously that they're there for. I don't think he's, or maybe he's captured, and it's almost like the Colosseum back in the day, where he has to go in and fight these creatures, or even in, Attack of the Clones, right? Isn't that where they were?
Yeah.
So again, it's something like that. It'd be interesting to see how he does get in there and what the story is about it. Is it just, is it just him in there to survive? Because we don't see Grogu.
Yeah.
In those 13 seconds. And if he's in there against 5 or 6 different people and or monsters, Grogu's not going to let him get his ass kicked.
True.
See,
I think this whole, like, they're giving us too much when it comes to this gladiator ring. I think it might be the opening scene of the movie, because when you think about it, it establishes Din Djarin being a badass and his fighting abilities to normie fans who've never met him before. You can have it be like him getting his ass kicked and Grogu has to step in and use the Force to stop him from dying, and that'll establish who Grogu is and that he has the ability to wield the Force to normie fans who've never seen the show. and it will establish who Stinky the Hutt is, and I guess kickstart us off into that whole plot point in the movie. So for people who've never seen Din and Grogu before, it would immediately tell you who these characters are, what their deal is, and what this movie's going to look like if you have an opening gladiator fight sequence of just cool action of Din being badass, Grogu wielding the Force, and just fun action adventure type stuff. Like that would be a great opening sequence for that movie.
Well, and then you're going to go ahead and you're going to take that speculation that everybody had or the rumors that were leaked with Stinky, and we get this. Okay, we get this part. Maybe they go rescue him. Maybe they don't. Whatever the case is, but at least we're that first scene or that first whatever you want to, first part of the movie. We're done with that, and everybody's satisfied with those answers.
Yeah,
Stinky the Hutt, and now he's out because. I mean, I guess at least from what the other rumors and what was it, Jeremy Allen White or whatever is talking about that they're gonna like that Stinky and Mando are gonna spend a lot of time together. I don't see how they're gonna get this slug to just wander around and slime around with Mando just wandering down the street and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting how much time they actually spend together. Is it a bunch of time in the beginning here where they have some things going on and then we're done with him? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, there's one glaring issue, and that's the fact that they cannot fit Stinky the Hutt in an N1 starfighter. So, yeah, I don't know. There's no way that they could do that. So if they're on a mission to go rescue him from that gladiator, like maybe he's there against his will or something. I don't know. We have no idea. But why the New Republic needs Stinky in the first place? We don't know. But maybe the opening scene isn't that. It's the Razor Crest flying into Navarro like we see in one of the trailers. And it's Zeb coming to recruit Din for this maybe mission or something. And they use the Razor Crest. And then Stinky could fit in that. I don't know. I don't see how Stinky fits into this story at all. But again, we don't really know much of the plot of the movie. Like, big battle scene at the end, we don't know. Like, who the main villain of the movie is, we don't know. We don't know much of anything when it comes to this movie, and it's 5 months away.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting when they have him in this arena like that, fighting these monsters. Where do we go from there? Because what I see is like if you have that, obviously they're big enough that maybe Stinky fights them next, or maybe he got his ass kicked and he's over on the side, and maybe that's why Din has to go in there, to fight those, because Stinky just got his ass whooped, and but he seems like a big enough Hutt that he's going to handle it. And like you were talking about the starfighter, obviously he's not going to fit in that, but I can just see the Razor Crest sitting there, and when he gets on, it just starts to lean to the side because he's so big. But yeah, you gotta put him in that, so it'll be interesting to see where they go with that part of the story, because I can't see what, like you said, what the Republic needs with Stinky, what Mando needs. Now if it was in season 2 of Book of Boba Fett, absolutely I could see him in there all day long with the cousins, or trying to take his dad's palace back, or something like that. But for what he's going to do in reference to the Mandalorian and Grogu, I'm sure they have a great story for it, but it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, and you actually brought up a great point too with the twin Hutts. The twin Hutts from the Book of Boba Fett are both in the poster for this movie.
Yeah.
So there's clearly a lot of Hutts going on in here, but to what end? Like, what is the purpose of all of that? It almost to me seems like the New Republic is sending Din on some sort of mission that involves the Hutts and the crime syndicates and the underworld and all that. And that'll be like the first half of the movie. And then it's not until maybe on that mission when he comes across some Imperial remnant or whatever, where he gets in big trouble, or whatever happens. And that's when the whole tide shifts to the Imperials being the bad guys, because the official synopsises we've gotten, the leaked stuff we've gotten, all refer to sort of the Imperial warlords, the Imperial remnant being the main bad guys of this movie. Nowhere in any of it does it mention any Hutts. Like, only the trailer is showing us the big green slugs. No words that are about this movie are saying that, at least no official words. So I don't know how the Hutts play into any of this, but we know for a fact that 3 will be in the movie. I just don't. It's crazy that we're 5 months away from the next Star Wars movie and we don't know a single thing about the plot of the movie. Like, that's wild.
Now, with the 3 Hutts in there, do you think we'll see Boba Fett?
You would think, because Boba Fett has a relationship, or had a relationship, with Jabba, he would know more than Din Djarin. So if Din was like, I need help, I don't know what's going on here, he would go and contact his good pal. But what's crazy to me is, on the one hand, you have all these leakers and scoopers, which I never claimed to be one, so never. But you have all these leakers and scoopers who claim that there's 0 cameos in this movie. No Bo-Katan, no Boba Fett, no Luke Skywalker, no nothing. And I agree to an extent. But how are you going to have Mando Season 3, where Bo-Katan was pretty much a main character, or Mando Season 2, where Boba Fett was pretty much a main character, and now you're going to go back to the movie theater for the first time in 7 years, where you need a successful movie, and not incorporate those characters that could easily be put into the story? So on the one hand, they're all saying, no, definitely not. And on the other hand, I'm like, if you want a successful, good movie, don't you want to put in those cool Easter eggs, cameos, for lack of a better word? Like, Boba Fett is so easy. He's now the ruler of Tatooine, where Jabba the Hutt was. He's already had confrontations with the Twin Hutts, and now the Twin Hutts and Jabba's son are going to be in the movie. Seems pretty obvious to bring that guy over with them too, but they keep saying no. So I don't know. I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah. Well, but I also think that they're not going to come out and be like, oh yeah, we got Boba Fett in here.
Yeah.
You know,
if the movie comes out and Boba Fett's in it, first of all, again, a well-kept secret by Lucasfilm. We have no idea. Tamara Morrison's going up on stage going, they won't call me. Nobody's calling me. If he's just lying this whole time, that would be awesome. But they're really good at keeping these secrets. And if Boba Fett plays a somewhat major or even a minor role in this movie, that would be a big old, at least $100 million, $200 million boost in the box office. At least. Because everybody who saw the original trilogy in theaters and watched Boba Fett go into the Sarlacc pit in 1983 are going to be like, I gotta see this movie. Same way, I mean, it's similar but different, but it's the same way that, again, the sequel trilogy had Luke, Leia, and Han. It's not, Boba Fett's not as important as those characters, but it is very similar, where people are going to go, I gotta see that. Boba Fett's back? Holy crap.
Well, and I think that they did a great job with, when we left from the originals to the prequels, and bringing Jabba back for the races as well. Yes. You know, and putting him in there and being able to what just as a cameo. And I think that that's what it could be. I also think that we might see Cobb Vanth, depending on how bad, you know, some of this stuff gets, you know, they get into. You know, we're still back on Tatooine. You know, he's in the hyperbaric chamber. I'm sure he's out by now. Yeah. But again, we know he's still alive. And so now we got the Mandalorian and Grogu with a Mandalorian, another Mandalorian and Boba Fett, and a half a Mandalorian with Cobb Vanth. So again, I can see that for sure happening. And then all of a sudden, you know, we have to have, you know, Bo-Katan and Bo-Katan and her crew now. You know, so it'll be interesting if we don't get any of those. I'll be very surprised if any of those 3 main characters, we don't at least get a cameo from them. You know, and maybe it's at the end. Maybe it's at the end where, you know, Bo-Katan comes in and says, hey, you know what, I've heard you're having a problem and I'm bringing my forces. I'm going to help you. You know, whatever this, you know, again, I agree with you. I think it's going to do fantastic. And I think this is going to be a trilogy. And I think
100%.
You could definitely put in stuff like that, because even if it's at the end of it, people are still going to go and say, all right, I'm going to go see Boba Fett, and oh, now he's going to be in the second one. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
it also, you could and we have been talking about this all stream, how they probably are working on live action shows that we don't know about yet, because Ahsoka season 2 is the only one we know about. Book of Boba Fett season 2, The Mandalorian and Grogu could be a setup for Book of Boba Fett season 2 if they do it right, because they're going into the underworld. They're talking about the huts. They're talking about all this stuff that Boba Fett is involved in. It could just be a setup. For example, Mandalorian and Grogu episode 1, sure, if it's a trilogy, whatever. Then Ahsoka season 2, then the second installment, then a Book of Boba Fett season 2, then the third installment. Like, there could easily be a setup for that second season in these movies. I mean, because of the Hutt connection alone. Like, there's plenty of stuff there for Boba Fett to be involved. And going to Bo-Katan, like you just brought up, the thing that gets me so much is the Katie Sackhoff interview, where they ask her if she's been in they ask her, because her first initial comment was, I haven't been in the Bo-Katan suit in 2025. And then the question is brought up to her. The interviewer says, you said you've never been in the Bo-Katan costume in 2025, but The Mandalorian and Grogu stopped filming in 2024. And she just gets this enormous grin on her face, doesn't even say anything. She's like, yep. Like, that is the most evidence by far that she is in the movie. Maybe not a main character in the movie, but she's in it in some sort of facet. Like you said, maybe it's just the very end where he needs help and he goes to get Bo-Katan to help. Whatever it may be, she's in that movie. Like, that interview alone confirms to me that Katie Sackhoff is Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and that's all I need to see. That's literally all I need to see.
Oh, I agree with you. I thought that was fantastic, and yeah, she just smiles, and she really doesn't answer the question, and she's not lying. No. You know, she hasn't been in it 2025 because she finished shooting in 2024, so she hasn't. So yeah, I think you're going to see. I think we're going to see some cameos for sure, and maybe I don't know why people wouldn't think that seeing her isn't a cameo. I mean, she's a big enough player to have her come on and have a decent role in this movie. Yeah. And it could possibly be that the way that she answers that question as well. She could have a bigger part in this than we all know. Yeah,
and one of the coolest dynamics, I think, from especially Mando season 2 is Bo-Katan and Boba Fett, because Din Djarin is friends with Bo-Katan, is friends with Boba Fett, but the two of them are like sworn enemies, because he's wearing the Mandalorian armor, but he's not really a Mandalorian. And he's like, yeah, I am, but he's really a clone. And then she's mad at the clones because of what happened to her people and what happened with the Empire and at the end of the Clone Wars and all that. So it's this crazy, like, they fight in the bar, or actually she doesn't fight, but the girl that's with her fights. And they don't like Boba Fett at all. So having that on the big screen, that dynamic would be really cool as well. But Bo-Katan, as you said, is a main character in season 3 of The Mandalorian. She's been around, like Ahsoka, since the Clone Wars. She's been a character who's been in Clone Wars, in Rebels, and now is in live action. So having her come to the big screen after all these, 15 years of being in Star Wars will be deserved and will be well worth the wait for so many people who love that character.
Yeah. I don't know who Max Rebo just said something about Brandon Wayne.
Oh, so yes, Brandon Wayne. Wait, what?
Is he a big podcaster?
No, Brandon Wayne is the guy who's under the mask for The Mandalorian when Pedro Pascal is not. So he actually, again, he can't say if there are any people returning, but there are returning characters. We know that for a fact. 2 Shadow Council members at least, and Din and Grogu, I suppose. But yes, 2 Shadow Council members already deny that claim. And Brandon Wayne did say, shout out to Explore the Force. They interviewed him and they asked him, like, if he could explain, or if he could describe the Mandalorian and Grogu movie in a phrase, what would it be? And his phrase was franchise changing. And I've been excited for the Mandalorian and Grogu. I have never been more excited for this movie than when he said that, because this whole time I'm just thinking, like, the Mandalorian and Grogu is just going to be a continuation of what we saw on Disney Plus. And that's cool because it's awesome on Disney Plus. But the fact that it's going to be franchise changing changes pretty much everything I think is going to happen, because it's not just going to be another adventure with Din and Grogu. It's going to be something way bigger than that. To actually define something as franchise changing, it has to do something you wouldn't expect at all. And that's not really what I was thinking for The Mandalorian and Grogu. So for Brandon Wayne, who is The Mandalorian, he's definitely one of 3 guys who plays Din Djarin. That got me excited.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just like you said, I mean, franchise changing is definitely a big word to use for that. And I also think that that's true, but I also think that stuff like this, where he says, "Oh, there's no returning actors," like you said, we definitely have some returning actors. Maybe he's trying to again downplay it, because he's not going to be like, "Oh yeah, you know, Katie's coming back," and yeah, we got the whole gang back together. No, they're not going to do that. And what are you going to do? Go bash them because they were lying? I mean, they're under NDA, so I think a lot of them are definitely bending the truth or omitting things. And I think, you know, and maybe Katie got sort of caught off guard.
Yes.
You know, for to say, "Oh yeah, I haven't been in the Mandalorian suit in 2025," and that interviewer was like, "Oh, wait a minute, what about 2024?" And that's when they stopped filming. So I think it would be. I mean, I know both of us and everybody here, we're gonna love it, but I think it would be, in my humble opinion, I think it would be a disservice for us not to get a couple cameos from this Mando era. I don't think we're just going to get 2 Shadow Council members that pretty much nobody knows who they are. You know, we're getting Din and Grogu back, and that's it. And you're gonna say, "Oh, we got some creatures, and we got Jabba's son, and we got some more Jabba's relatives," but we're not going to show anybody else in this. We're not showing Bo-Katan, we're not showing Boba Fett or anything like that. You know, what's the Wookiee's name?
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah, Chrysanthemum. You know, I mean, you could possibly see him as well, even though he was in that Boba Fett. You know, he helped fight. You know, when Mando came around, so they're all combined there somehow. And I think if like we both have said, if it's not throughout the movie, I definitely think we're going to see something in a ending scene, something like that, to get us hyped up for that second movie.
Yeah, and like you said, NDAs. It's almost impossible to believe anything that an actor says nowadays, because they can't. Like, we've talked about it 1,000 times tonight alone, that Lucasfilm is good at keeping secrets. The way that they're good at keeping secrets is by keeping actors' mouths shut, because if they spoil it, it's over. And you've seen it with Marvel, you've seen it with all these different franchises now, because the big reveals are what are important, are what are going to drive people to the box office or go to Disney Plus and watch the show, like Luke Skywalker showing up at the end of The Mandalorian season 2. If that's spoiled early, there goes the whole season. There goes the whole reveal, and nobody will care. We didn't know Luke Skywalker was showing up until we saw his green lightsaber. Even when the one X-Wing comes flying in, you're like, is that Luke? It could be. And then you see a Jedi going, and you're like, is that Luke? It could be. It could be this. It could be that. And it's not until you see the metal hand in the green lightsaber where you're like, it's Luke. Holy crap. And that moment is, like, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. It's such a cool moment, because Star Wars fans did not see it coming. If anybody says they did, they're lying to you. Nobody saw that coming. And if an actor spoils that, it's over. So Brandon Wayne's not going to be like, "Oh yeah, Katie's back. Yeah, of course Tamara Morrison's in this movie." Like, duh. That would ruin the whole thing. And you look at other franchises, for example, Spider-Man No Way Home, one of the biggest movies of all time, made $2 billion. It's all 3 Spider-Men coming back, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
They were asking Andrew Garfield for years, or maybe not years, but at least a year, leading up to that movie, if he was going to be in it. And every time he had to lie, because why ruin the surprise? And even when there was like leaked images of him in the Spider-Man suit, like on set, he was still like, "Nope, that's not me. That's just fake. That's AI," or whatever. Like, he had to downplay it so much. And he was lying to us straight to our faces, because he had to. Because when he walks through that portal in Spider-Man No Way Home, it is such a feel-good moment. When Toby walks in, it's so awesome, and you can't ruin that by actors ruining it. So obviously, if an actor like Tamara Morrison or Katie Sackhoff is going to be in this movie, they're not going to tell us. We won't know until we see them on screen.
Yep. And then
That's
we're
the way
going
it
to
should
freak out,
be.
like you said,
Yeah.
and then we freak out.
And then
Yeah,
we freak out.
It's just incredible, and I know I said something in our group chat about Rebels and doing something like that in reference to favorite episodes, and just doing an episode on our episode, like on a podcast for Rebels, because I think it's so cool what Dave and John do, and I'm just going to give this one little example, and I'm probably bring it up or something at some point when we do this Rebels thing. But I just watched the one where the Ghost crew goes and meets up with Gregor and Rex, you know, and they're old, you know, and Kanan still hates them because of what happened.
Yep.
And I get goosebumps now just talking about it. But at the end, when they're talking about, hey, you know what, it's great to be fighting again with leading by a Jedi, and Kanan standing up on top of the Ghost, and they all look up at him and salute him, and he looks back down. It's so cool that they're able to do things like that, because that just takes me right back to 1, 2, and 3, you know. And another thing in reference to that, I just have to say, Rex was a badass. Rex was a badass clone trooper. I mean, he's definitely like special forces type of, just some of the things that he's done and survived through. As I continue to watch Rebels and I'm watching both of them at the same time. I'm watching Clone Wars and Rebels when I can, like flying. I have Clone Wars in my phone, so when I don't have reception, and then when I was sitting at the airport, I was listening to you for a little bit, and then I'll watch, when I have reception, I'll watch Rebels and keep up with it, and at home as well. But so I'm watching both of them, and it's so cool to see these characters and what Dave and John have done to this. And I think we're going to see that in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and I know you think it's making at least 1 billion, and I think it's going to be a blockbuster. I think it's going to go to 2. I really do, because we just say Zootopia is it already over 1 billion or whatever?
Yeah.
Which I get it, because there's all these little kids going to it, but again, you have Grogu in this.
Yep.
Moms are going to go. Dads are going to go. They're taking their kids. The kids want to go. 50, 60-year-old men like me are going to go, 20-year-old guys like you are going to, it's going to be a huge movie. I think it's going to stay there. And I think as we continue to get more stuff on it, people are going to get more and more excited about it.
Yeah. And like you just said, every new Star Wars trilogy is an opportunity for a dad or somebody to introduce their kids to the next generation of Star Wars. And that's sort of how Star Wars has always worked. People who saw the originals take their kids to go see the prequels. People who saw the prequels take their kids to go see the sequels, and it just continues forever. With The Mandalorian and Grogu, it's the same thing. Now the people who grew up on the sequels, maybe some of them have kids. I don't know. That kind of depends. It's a quick turnaround. But either way, you still have parents taking their kids to see The Mandalorian and Grogu, but it has the added benefit of Grogu. Because yes, you already have that happening just in general, where parents want to show their kids Star Wars. So a new movie is a great place to start. But when you already have the thing that kids already love, Grogu, in that movie, it's just an added bonus. So when you look at how like the sequel trilogies, all of them made 1 billion and Force Awakens made 2, there should be no, like, I don't even know why it's an argument when I say something like that. I think the argument that should be had, like you say, is it should make 2, but that fully depends on, how good it is, word of mouth. I think 1 billion will be pretty easy and 2 will be pretty hard, but somewhere in between. I think Grogu is the key. And I mean, he always has been. He's not the key just for the story in universe, but the key for the box office as well.
Right. Well, and I had one of my shorts I did in reference to the 50th anniversary of A New Hope coming out, and I posed the question, like, did you see it? When did you see it? How did you see it? and some people were like, oh, I saw it, on VHS when I was older, or, but a lot of people my age saw it and even younger, and some older, saw it in the theater, and, went with my grandfather. Somebody said they went with their grandmother, and I was just like, it's so cool to see that. And that's exactly, I think, what's going to happen with this Mandalorian and Grogu movie, or because you do have this cute little thing, that everybody's going to go out and buy it, and it's going to be great for Christmas next year as well. But it's such a good story. It has crushed the Mandalorian, crushed on Disney Plus, and I think they're still going to continue to do that. And you still have the hype of all these other things that are coming out. Even the normie fans know that Ryan Gosling's going to be in Star Wars now. So it's like, oh, okay, so Star Wars is sort of getting popular again if you haven't paid attention, or Star Wars is sort of cool again. You got this major A-list actor that's going to be a main character in a Star Wars movie. And now we got, Pedro Pascal, who's in freaking everything last year. Whether we see him or not, which I think will be, I don't think we'll see his face, maybe. Obviously we're going to hear his voice, but that'll be interesting too. That's I didn't even think about that. That's a good question. Are we going to see his face at some point? Is he going to take off that helmet?
Yeah. Only if he dies. But yeah. I think when we get closer to the movie, the press tour starts to go around, and who's on the press tour? Sigourney, I can't even say it real anymore because I say it wrong on purpose. Sigourney Weaver and Pedro Pascal. You're talking about one of the greatest of all time sci-fi actresses, and Pedro Pascal is one of the biggest actors in Hollywood right now. He's Reed Richards in the MCU. He's in The Last of Us. He's in everything. Everywhere you look, it's Pedro Pascal. So those two are your heads of the press tour. You can keep all the secrets you want when you have those two, because you don't need anybody else going out. You don't need Katie Sackhoff going out on the press tour, because you already have these two bringing the faces all around. I will say too, as you mentioned, Grogu for Christmas, it's the perfect place to put it in May, because in May kids love it. They go, I want this for Christmas. I want this for Christmas. And then when Christmas rolls around, there's a big resurgence in the Mandalorian and Grogu's excitement, because all these kids get the toys for Christmas. So it's pretty genius. I will say 2026 for Star Wars, we've talked about it. It's going to be incredible. Just in general, for media sense, it's going to be like one of the greatest years of all time, not just Star Wars. You have stuff like Dune 3 finishing off the trilogy for the Dune movies. You have Avengers Doomsday, a new Spider-Man movie, which they're all wicked successful. You have The Boys season 5, which ends that series. Invincible season 4, which is enormous as well. GTA 6 comes out next year. People have been waiting for that for 13 years, 14 years. It's going to be an insane year. And I think people are underestimating the success that The Mandalorian is going to have, because it comes out in May, where pretty much nothing else is coming out. There's a big gap in the year right around that perfect spot for The Mandalorian and Grogu, because hopefully, as people should be, they're scared of it. They think that it's going to make a ton of money, and if they put out a movie around that time, they'll lose money. And I think they would. So I think you're going to see 2026 go down as one of the greatest years for media in general. But for Star Wars in particular, it might be the best year of all time.
Yeah.
Might just be.
Yeah. And again, like we talked about it at the beginning, it could be really cool for 2027. We could lead right into another amazing year for 2027 if they're going to talk about, oh, we're going to have a whole year of celebration for this, and I'm not complaining. 2026 is going to be awesome, and 2027 could be even more awesome.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we looked, if you look back, 2021, either 2021 and 22 or 22 and 23. I think 22 and 23. The year where we had Andor, Kenobi, and Book of Boba Fett all in one year. And then the following year, I believe, was Mando season 3 and Ahsoka season 1. That back-to-back year is insane. You're getting three live action in 1 year, 2 in the next. In that, you had a Bad Batch season. In that, you had a Tales of the Jedi. Like, that's an insane 1-2 punch. I think 2026, 2027 will be even bigger because it's not just live action shows and animated shows, but it's movies. We're back in the theaters. So it's for the first time ever a combination of all three. We have yet to have a movie and a live action show for Star Wars at the same time, because as soon as I guess there was a little bit of a crossover with 2019, but as soon as the sequel trilogy ended, we went straight to streaming and haven't turned back since. So we haven't had that 1-2-3 punch of live action movie and animated show at the same time. And 2026 will be the first time we get that, and it will continue into 2027. So
Yeah, and I think that depending on all these rumors now and the leaks and stuff in reference to Maul Shadow Lord, I think you might see, and I don't think it'll hurt it because again, it's animation, which it's not as big, especially with the older crowd. Let's say
yeah,
the animation. So I think we might get a little bit of overlap, because if it starts later, especially if these comics drop once a week, these drops once a week, that's 5 weeks. And they're talking about that's coming out the end of March. So I mean, you're even in the middle of March, even if you're in the beginning of March, you're definitely going into April.
yeah,
And now you're going to start Maul, and it's going to be, I'm going to say at least 12, if not 15 or 16
yeah,
episodes.
yeah,
Even if they combine a couple of them and make a cool little, segue into 2 or 3 episodes, you're still going to roll into, I think, May. But I don't think that will hurt Mandalorian and Grogu. I think that Disney Plus animated series on Darth Maul is not going to hurt Mandalorian and Grogu when it goes to the box office. And I also think that we could possibly see another animation, which could be a Tales next year at some point.
yeah. I agree. I think what is likely to happen is all 5 issues come out on the same day, or it's a week-to-week thing, and that would bring you right to April 1st or March 31st. And then, as you said, if it's 12 episodes, it'll be a little bit before the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and if it's 15, it'll go right up to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But as we mentioned earlier, the hype for Star Wars in general gets boosted when a good show comes out, like Andor Season 2 earlier this year made the Battlefront 2 lobbies go way up. So if Maul Shadow Lord is really, really good, then the hype for a Star Wars project, the want for more Star Wars will be really, really high. And then the Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes out, and that just satisfies everybody's needs. If they schedule this correctly, we could be getting Star Wars content pretty much 80% of the weeks this year. Like, every single week we could be getting something new. 8 episodes of Ahsoka, 8 weeks of Ahsoka, maybe 10 weeks of Maul Shadow Lord, another, who knows, 8 weeks of Vision's spinoff thing, another week of Tales, 2 or 3 months of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, you're getting close to about 8 or 9 months. Like, you're talking majority of this year, next year, sorry, we will be seeing Star Wars content every week. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I think 27 is going to be the same. I think because we already know about so many things that are coming out in 26 and 27. We don't know about the things that aren't coming out. At least not yet. And again,
I mean,
things like this, these
Galactic
2 games.
Racer. Yeah.
Right. These 2 games. Boom, here you go. This is coming out next year too.
Yeah, we knew 2026 was going to be jam-packed, and then they add Galactic Racer to that. Like, that's even more, like, there could be a Tales next year, which would probably come out on May 4th or something. Oh, actually, right before we started this live stream, I saw this too. Disney Plus released their like end of year wrapped stats type thing, and the most viewed movie on the platform, like 80 million views or something, or most rewatched movie, was Moana 2, because it came out last year or late last year. And then the most viewed show, because it is the show for Disney Plus, was Bluey, the kids show. But what was shocking to me was the most streamed day. So the day that of the year that had the most minutes streamed was May the 4th. May the 4th was the most streamed day of the year because everybody who's a Star Wars fan went to Disney Plus to go watch some Star Wars for the day. Didn't matter what it was, whatever they wanted to, because that's where all Star Wars exists. They went and watched Star Wars.
That's pretty cool. And,
Yeah,
and I mean,
that's awesome.
I don't. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, I mean, the only
because
thing
like
that
you
would
said-
compete.
No, just everybody watching. It's May the 4th. People know about May the
Yeah.
4th. So anybody that's just a little bit of a Star Wars fan, because if it's not on TNT or TBS for the holiday weekends or whenever they do that,
Yeah.
people are going to there to watch whatever they want. Again, with these kids and the kid shows, all the cartoons that are not even like more of a cartoon than animation for the kid show. Oh, hey, it's May the 4th. This is the day, you know, blah blah blah. Let's watch these. Mom and dad want to watch A New Hope again, or watch 1, 2, and 3 again. So yeah, I think that's really cool that's the big day for Disney Plus.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing that I could see competing with it would be like a big movie dropping on Disney Plus, but that doesn't. I mean, it did happen this year, but it's not like people dropped everything to go watch it on the same day. So when it was May the 4th, everybody wanted to watch Star Wars and they went to Disney Plus. I'm sure that's the same every single year though. Like that's their biggest streaming day.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
I know. It's so
But
cool.
I think next year too, because it's going to go right to Disney Plus. Once Mandalorian and Grogu drops out of the theaters, it's going to crush it on Disney Plus, because the people that the 3 people that didn't see it in the theater, you know, are going to watch it along with all the rest of us that are going to sit in our homes and watch it on our TV at home.
The amount of times I just turn on Disney Plus just in the background and throw on something Star Wars random, it's all the time. So when The Mandalorian and Grogu drops on Disney Plus, I'm gonna watch it till it's ingrained in my memory on repeat. So
exactly. Whew, that was a good one. We are an hour and 45 in. I'm gonna show that trailer one more time before we leave, the leaked one. I'm sure Mike will talk about it tomorrow. If you guys haven't, I'm sure most of you guys have. Check out Mike's podcast Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time, where he talks about everything new on Star Wars. It's coming out, rumors, leaks, solid stuff, everything. So if you haven't already, check out Mike's podcast. Next week, I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet next week. I know it's Christmas Eve. New Year's Eve is the week after. I will definitely have something on Wednesday evening that I'll post at 7:00. I think what I might do, depending on if you're around or if any of the guys want to do something, I might do a little something. If not, I might just come on by myself if I'm not doing anything, because as our kids get older, they go and do their own things and stuff. It's not, so I'm not sure what me and the wife are doing. So if you guys want something, let me know. If you guys are going to be sitting around at home and you want to see a live, because I'm guessing if there is a live, I'm probably going to be one of the only people doing it on Christmas Eve. So, let us know. I do have an interview coming up with a content creator that I'm doing that on Monday. So I might have, if I don't do one, I might edit that and get that out on Wednesday. So you guys check that out. And again, let us know what you guys want to talk about. Thank you everybody for being in the chat tonight. Everybody, we had one of the biggest nights that we've had, so I appreciate everybody chiming in and becoming members. It means so much to me. I know Mike feels the same way on his podcast. I mean, of course, we do this for you guys and for ourselves, just so we have, like you said, when you started this channel, and it's funny, it's the same way. Or when you started your channel, it's a cool platform that we get to talk to other people that are just as passionate about Star Wars as we are, because most of my friends could not care about, there's a few of them that are like, oh cool, yeah, I saw that the other day, or or this happened or whatever, but they're not like we are. So again, I thank you guys so much. You could be doing anything for the last almost 2 hours and you're here chatting with us and talking about Star Wars. And again, like we said, these next few years are going to be amazing for Star Wars. So if we're not here next week, y'all have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And if we're around, we'll see you before that. But thanks again for being here, Mike. Appreciate you coming out again and talking. And don't forget to check that out tomorrow. I'm sure Mike will have a lot more to talk about with this leak trailer, and we're gonna watch that. And may the force be with you. So awesome. So awesome.
So good.
See you guys.